This is a story of he and she, but it could just as well be a story about he and he, she and she, they and she. The point is, this could be happening within any kind of couple. They meet at a braai, or maybe online, or in a club. She's studying at the University of somewhere, and he tells her that he's also studying at the University of somewhere. It turns out that they're both third-year students at this university, although he tells her that he already has another degree, which is why he's a mature student this time around. They exchange numbers because he spends the whole night being so complimentary of her, and she could really use the boost. It's been a tough few months for her. So, in the next few weeks, he showers her with messages, gifts, and attention, compliments. She's a little overwhelmed, but she's pretty into him, and he seems to be such a nice guy, so she lets it go. This must be what real love feels like. After all, he's so charming. All of her friends love him too. 3 months into the relationship, he convinces her that they should move in together. She thinks this is a little fast, but he's so charming and he gives her so many good reasons to do it, so she agrees. For example, he says that they are soulmates and are destined to be together anyway, so why prolong the inevitable? The first few months go well. He's told her that he has a crushing student debt, so she buys most of the groceries, pays the rent, buys his toiletries and clothes. Sometimes this feels a little weird to her, but he's so helpful with her assignments and so supportive. This must be love, give and take, right? At their 6-month anniversary dinner, when she's about to order dessert, he says, "Are you really sure you want to do that? Do you want to be fat like your friend Pam? You're already getting a little thick around the waist." She is really taken aback by this comment. She has put on a little weight, but she's healthy and she's very active. Later on, he apologizes, saying, "I just want what's best for you." A few weeks later, they are at a house party. She spends some time chatting to Mike, an old school friend. That night, when they get home, he explodes with rage, blames her for being inconsiderate, and accuses her of sleeping with Mike and being a slut. He storms out, slamming and shattering the glass door. He freezes her out for days, but then comes back home with a huge bunch of red flowers. He apologizes and explains that he behaved that way because he was drunk and because he just loves her so much. He sobs and swears he will never do it again. She feels he is genuinely remorseful, so she decides to give him another chance. After this incident, though, she finds that she has to account for her whereabouts more and more. He even takes a photo of her lecture timetable and demands to know where she is when she isn't home on time. He accuses her of spending time with Mike if he doesn't know where she is. He also accuses her of not really loving him and says he can't live without her. The thing is that she thinks she does really love him, and she knows he had a difficult childhood, and she doesn't want to hurt him, so she promises to consider his needs more. Over the ensuing months, he alienates her from her friends and family. He convinces her that her friends are a very bad influence on her, that they gossip about her behind her back, that they're a bad influence on her studies and on their loving relationship. He tells her she's completely dumb for not being able to see it herself, and tells her she's lucky to have him to protect her from them. When she challenges him, he threatens to tell her father, a very conservative and very devout Christian, that his daughter is no longer a virgin and is living in sin. In fact, she's a slut who sleeps with everything on 2 legs. Her father has had many medical problems, and he had a heart attack last year. She worries he would have another one if he found out. So she goes along with what he wants her to do. Since she is seeing less and less of her friends, she spends all her spare time with him. She's also afraid of what he might do if she didn't spend all her time with him. She spends a lot of time doing housework because he is very particular about how things must be, and he explodes if things are out of place, like if she folds a towel incorrectly. He blames her when things go wrong, even the smallest, stupidest things like running out of shower gel or a bulb going out. He tells her she's so incompetent he doesn't know how she even managed to finish school, let alone get into varsity. She is increasingly unhappy. Her university work begins to suffer. She feels very depressed most of the time, and she thinks of kicking him out, but she is desperately afraid of what he might do. One day she has a flat tire. Her phone battery is dead, so she can't call him to say she'll be late. By the time she gets home, he is blind drunk and has smashed all her beloved grandmother's dinner plates. He says that she disrespected him, and so he decided to make her understand what that feels like. He tells her it was irresponsible to let her battery die because he really worries about her and he likes to check up on her all the time. She does think it was irresponsible of her to have let that happen, so while she is devastated about the dinner plates, she feels she can't really argue his point. When she eventually puts her phone on, there are 113 missed calls from him, 7 terribly abusive voice messages, and 68 WhatsApps. This was during a period of 90 minutes. He does usually WhatsApp her all the time, demanding instant replies, something she gets in trouble for in class. But this was a bit much, even by his standards. She does everything she can to restore calm over the next few days, but things are tense. She's also becoming convinced that he's lying to her. He's absent for long periods where he says he's doing his own university work, but she has never actually seen any evidence that he is studying. No books, no student card, no timetables. She thinks he's spending time with other women. She has seen odd messages pop up on his phone and has smelled perfume on his clothes. He repeatedly denies any affairs, mocks her about it, and said she must be paranoid and losing her mind, and suggests an admission to a psych ward. He says he's just doing some tutoring work to earn a bit of money. She also suspects that he is drinking more. Every time she buys wine, it just disappears. But he makes her doubt that she even bought it in the first place. One day she wants to check the shop receipts, but they are gone from her wallet. And she also feels like cash is missing. One day she's homesick with flu and he is out when the landline rings and she answers. It's a plumbing company asking if she knows where he is. It turns out he is a full-time employee there, but he's been AWOL for weeks after having a disciplinary for swearing at a customer. She is shocked. He did lie about being a student and having a student loan. And now that she thinks about it, it does seem like he's been drunk more often since they say he disappeared. So if he's been lying about this, what else could he be lying about? When he gets home, she confronts him. She is absolutely furious that she's been living a lie. She screams at him to get out of her flat and never come back. He jumps over the couch and grabs her by the throat, slamming her into a wall. He tells her if she ever speaks to him like that again, he will kill her. She can see by the look in his eyes that he means it. She is absolutely devastated and feels completely trapped. No one else in her life knows what she is going through because she is so isolated, and she knows what he could do if she disclosed. He always threatens to kill her if she says anything. He becomes even more controlling after this, and the explosive arguments become more frequent as he drinks more and more. He continually insults her and breaks down her self-esteem completely. She starts failing at varsity, much to the shock and dismay of her parents. She becomes profoundly depressed and begins to feel that suicide may be the only way out.